Fox 5 News at 6 starts right now.
I'm hearing we're doing well all over. I hear the lines are amazing. The lines have been amazing. And I think we're going to have a great night.
You've been great to me my whole career.
Yes,
Election Day gratitude from the candidates as the last votes of the 2020 election are being cast in person, adding to the 100 million early votes across the country. Tonight, all eyes in Georgia are on the race between President Trump and former Vice President Biden and on our 2 U.S. Senate races. Good evening. I'm Russ Spencer.
And I'm Courtney Bryant. There is only 1 hour left to vote here in Georgia. The Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, says the average wait time to vote at one point today was between 3 and 4 minutes long. He believes enough people took advantage of early and absentee voting, keeping long lines and wait times down.
Well, Fox 5's Elizabeth Rawlins joins us now live in DeKalb County at one of those polling locations. Elizabeth, Secretary Raffensperger called this an historic day.
He absolutely didn't. In fact, he says it's never been easier to vote in Georgia. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and members of his team holding a news conference Tuesday afternoon, Election Day, to talk about what he calls a historic day for Georgia.
Our goal was 1.5 million voters to vote absentee. We had 1.6 million requests, and right now we probably have about almost pushing 1.5 million ballots accepted, so that was a win.
At one point, the average wait time at the polls was between 3 and 4 minutes.
It's never been easier to vote in Georgia.
Despite Fulton County having issues back in the summer during the primary, they did not have those problems today. But that couldn't be said for Morgan and Spalding counties.
It looks like it was a data set issue in both cases. There are 18 polling locations that were affected in Spalding and 7 in Morgan.
Voting later resumed in those 2 counties, and overall, the secretary says it's been a smooth day.
And that's what everyone wants, and that's what everyone wants from government. They want it to be responsive to the people, and they want it to work, and we've made it work.
Now, I've just learned that Spalding County is actually going to stay open until 9 o'clock tonight to accommodate those who may have had issues earlier today voting, so make sure you take advantage of that if you're in Spalding County. Also, if you have an absentee ballot and you have not turned it in yet, you have until 7 o'clock. You can get it to one of those special election boxes. If you can get it in there by 7 o'clock, it'll still be counted. For now, we're live from the city of Atlanta tonight. Elizabeth Rawlins, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, don't drop it in the mail. Elizabeth, good reminder tonight. Thanks. Fulton County elections officials say today has gone smoothly overall, and they attribute today's success to well-run early voting. The Fulton officials who were out in the field and monitoring polling stations today tell us overall there were no major issues at the county's 255 precincts. And despite some problems with the delivery of the voting equipment, all precincts did open on time.
There were a few delays with equipment going back to yesterday when one of the companies that we had contracted with backed out. So we had to scramble to replace that company. We worked really late into the night and this morning, making sure that all of the necessary equipment was delivered.
Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts says his plan was to visit 20 or so of the county's polling locations throughout today to see firsthand that everything was going smoothly.
Well, election officials have extended voting hours at 2 DeKalb County polling places that opened late this morning to ensure those locations are open for the required full 12 hours of voting. Fox 5's Morse Diggs joins us now live tonight at a polling site in DeKalb with more on that story. Morse?
Well, let's show you this Decatur polling place. This is the Valley Brook Baptist Church. Now, they were able to open right at 7 o'clock, ran into a few difficulties. Then they had to suspend the operations, got it back up at 8, so an extra 40 minutes for these individuals. The DeKalb CEO stopped by a short time ago. He gave us his take.
Well, first of all, 53% of all the registered voters in DeKalb either voted early or voted by mail. That's an unprecedented record-breaking number. Secondarily, we've continued to have a steady flow, not an overwhelming flow, and we increased the poll sites and larger polling stations. Consequently, we've had a much smoother election day than in the runoff in August.
And Michael Thurman says he's elated about how smooth things have gone today. He says he expects when all the votes are counted, it'll be similar to the 2016 presidential race as far as DeKalb County is concerned. One more second here. We're going to talk about the other polling place Obama Elementary, that's the Gresham Road polling place, they will have an extra 40 minutes. Reporting live from DeKalb County, I'm Morris Diggs, Fox 5 News.
All right, Morris, thank you very much. And we can be grateful for the fact that the weather was absolutely perfect for the election today.
Yeah, it really just turned out pretty nice today, David.
And it couldn't be a whole lot better. Very little wind, lots of sunshine. It was chilly this morning. Temperatures warmed this afternoon into the mid-60s, and now in the drier air as the sun has set, we're back down into the 50s in a lot of spots, and we're going to get a little cooler as the night goes on. We've had that massive area of high pressure sitting over the top of us. Yeah, it's next door there in Alabama, the center of circulation, and it's just kind of sliding off there to the east, and that ensures us a tranquil night tonight, another chilly night, and a pretty decent day tomorrow and on into the end of the week. So the sun has set, got a little twilight working, call it clear and cool. There your temperatures down through the 50s on into the upper 40s by 11 o'clock tonight. Now this morning we hit 37 here in Atlanta, our coolest so far this season. Don't think we're going to be quite that cool tomorrow morning. Still down below the average though in town at 43, but outside the perimeter in some of the outlying areas you'll be back down into the 30s, but a lot of spots were in the low 30s this morning. And then highs tomorrow with sunshine rebounding into the upper 60s to near 70 in a lot of spots. That's right on target here for the first week of November. Something else we're watching, Hurricane Ada. Ada's down here now moving into Nicaragua, and the reason we're talking about it, one, it's a very late season hurricane. Hurricane season winds up November 30th, but it's going to meander down here and then perhaps move back up into the Caribbean as the week unfolds. That's a little bit unusual. We'll talk about that as well as our weather into the weekend. It's coming your way in about 20 minutes.
David, thanks. Back to politics now. In an election with control of the U.S. Senate on the line, Georgia is the only state in the country with both Senate seats on the ballot.
There are two opportunities for Republicans to hold their ground and two opportunities for Democrats to make gains. Republican Senator David Perdue faces Democrat Jon Ossoff in a race that public polling has shown to be very close.
Fox 5's Doug Evans joins us now live from Senator Perdue's campaign. Doug?
Russ, very interesting. We're in the exact same ballroom that we were in 6 years ago, back in 2014, when David Perdue was first elected to the Senate. This is the ballroom at the Intercontinental Hotel in Buckhead. At that time, Saxby Chambliss, the senator then for Georgia, was retiring. Johnny Isakson then was the senior senator for the state of Georgia. Now, 6 years later, David Perdue is in a fight for his political life in a very, very close race, and he finds himself to be the senior senator for Georgia. Some polls have suggested that this is a very, very close race. We will see. The polls are the polls. The results are coming in tonight. We'll be watching it live with the rest of the Republican Party here at this hotel, and we'll be back with you live later tonight.
All right, we will watch and see what happens tonight. Doug, thanks. Democrats haven't won a Senate race in Georgia in 2 decades.
Well, Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has a look at Democrat Jon Ossoff's campaign. Angelique?
Well, Russ and Courtney, it is no secret the nation is watching these two Senate races, and Jon Ossoff told me before he left here tonight that he believes Georgians have the real power to make true change in Washington, and the candidate has been working around the clock, making 2 stops even today on Election Day at 2 different polling places. He is trying to unseat incumbent Senator David Perdue. And as Doug just said, the polls have shown this is a tight race, although a most recent poll gave the nod to Senator Perdue. But Ossoff says he's just continuing his campaign. He is encouraging everybody to get out and vote. And you have still, he says, the last hour to go ahead and get in line. And he stresses even if you get there at 6:59, you will still be able to vote. He says he is very encouraged by the number of people who have gotten involved in this election, some 4 million Georgians. But keep in mind, when I talked to him and asked him if he thought he might be in a runoff, he does not like that question. He says he wants people to vote right now, but if none of these candidates get 50% plus one, it is likely we will see a runoff in this race because there is a third Libertarian candidate. The other thing I'll add before I let you go is that this is a very unusual twist tonight. Jon Ossoff does not have a campaign party going on because of COVID-19. He felt it would be unsafe, and so he will be watching these returns privately with his wife, Alicia. We are reporting live in Southwest Atlanta. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Who we have all met through his ads. Everything different in the pandemic. Angelique, thanks. Coming up, Senator Kelly Loeffler, Congressman Doug Collins, and Democrat Reverend Raphael Warnock face off for the other Georgia Senate seat. We'll take a look at their campaigns.
Everyone has their eyes on who the presidential winner will be. Just ahead, we have a breakdown on what you should watch out for as results start coming in.